The sound doesn't come from the ring. It comes from the floor. A dull, muted impact leather against old wood. Heavy bags sway slightly, even though no one is touching them. The air inside the gym is thick and warm, saturated with old sweat and liniment. Someone stops jumping rope. Another fighter slows his rhythm on the bag. There's a strange feeling in the room, not confusion, but focused attention, as if something is about to resolve itself too quickly to be stopped. Mike Tyson is there, but not in the center of the ring. He stands a few steps away, near the ropes, upright, arms loose, broad shoulders occupying more space than they should. His breathing is low, controlled. His eyes don't scan the room. They stay fixed, motionless, as if they already know exactly where they need to be when the moment comes. There is no announcement, no open provocation. But everyone in the gym feels it. The next few seconds matter. New York, early 1980s, an old gym upstate, far from cameras, far from major arenas. Worn wooden floors, flickering fluorescent lights, the smell of oxidized metal mixed with overused leather. This is not a place for performance. It's a place for testing. Mike Tyson isn't a world champion yet, but he's no longer just a prospect in the right circles. His name travels quietly, a compact, explosive heavyweight, trained to enter an opponent's space without asking permission. Someone who doesn't need to speak to be noticed. He's there to train, nothing more. The afternoon session has been going for a while. Sparring rotations cycled through the ring. The sound of gloves colliding is rhythmic, almost hypnotic. Trainers speak in low voices. No one is forcing the atmosphere until a new presence shifts the invisible axis of the room. The man enters with long, heavy steps, 260 pounds, tall, wide shoulders, a chest inflated not only by muscle, but by the need to be seen. He isn't a complete unknown. He's fought on regional circuits, beaten smaller names, built a reputation on size and durability. To him, this gym is an improvised stage, a place where status is measured, not just technique. His eyes find Tyson, not immediately. First, they pass over the ring, the bags, the other fighters. Then they stop, evaluate, measure. There's a second of internal silence, and then judgment settles in. He smiles slightly. It isn't aggressive. It's worse, a restrained look of contempt from someone who believes he's already understood everything. He needs to understand. He approaches one of the trainers, says something too low to hear clearly. The trainer doesn't respond. The man takes 2 more steps forward. Now everyone notices. Is that him? He says, loud enough to be heard. Everybody talks, but in the end, it's just hype. The word lands heavily in the air. Hype. It isn't a direct insult. It isn't a formal challenge. It's an attempt to reduce everything Mike Tyson represents to something temporary, manufactured, inflated. Some men stop completely. Others pretend to keep training, but listen to every word. No one looks at Tyson expecting a verbal response. They look to see if he moves. Mike Tyson doesn't react immediately. He doesn't raise his voice, doesn't frown, doesn't change posture. He simply shifts his weight slightly from one foot to the other, almost imperceptible. His breathing stays the same. His eyes now lock completely onto the 260-pound boxer. There is no visible anger. There is calculation. The nearest trainer moves as if to intervene, then stops mid-step. He knows that. Look, he knows interfering now would solve nothing. The antagonist reads the silence as weakness. Seriously? He continues, opening his arms a bit. I expected more. They say you're a monster. But up close, he lets the sentence hang. He doesn't finish it. He doesn't need to. The entire gym seems to contract. Mike Tyson takes 1 step forward. The movement is simple. No theatrics. Just a short, precise advance. Distance between them closes enough that the other man's size is no longer a clear advantage. Suddenly, the extra weight feels irrelevant in that tight space. Tyson speaks for the first time. Gloves, 1 word. Low, neutral, no explicit threat. The man smiles wider now. To him, this is exactly what he wanted. An informal invitation. A chance to prove something without having to justify it later. He yanks on his gloves adjusts his mouthpiece with his tongue, climbs into the ring with a confidence as someone who believes mass solves conflict. Around them, the room changes frequency. Conversations stop. Side training halts. The dominant sound now is the soft creak of ring ropes tightening. Mike Tyson enters from the opposite side. No rush, not too slow either. That would look suspicious. He steps onto the canvas like someone who's been there hundreds of times because they face each other. The physical difference is obvious. The other man is bigger, heavier, with longer arms. He occupies space aggressively. Tyson, shorter and more compact, looks almost compressed by comparison. But something doesn't fit. The bigger man breathes loud. Tyson doesn't. The bigger man moves too much. Tyson conserves motion. The bigger man glances around, as if searching for an audience. Tyson never looks away. The trainer reminds them it's light, just feeling rhythm. No one truly believes that. The first move comes from the 260-pound boxer, a wide, exploratory jab, more about presence than accuracy. Tyson doesn't step back. He shifts his head a few centimeters offline, barely moving his body. Another jab, another minimal adjustment. The third punch comes with intent. Body weight follows. The ring vibrates slightly. That's when observers begin to sense something wrong, not dramatically, but technically. The timing favors Tyson. The distance is not under control. Space is being occupied without permission. Tyson takes another short step forward. Now they're inside what fighters call the uncomfortable zone, where long arms lose efficiency, and decisions must be made too quickly for someone who relies on size alone. The antagonist tries to adjust, lowers his center of gravity, resets his guard. There's a fraction of hesitation at the exact instant when the body hasn't decided whether to attack or retreat. That's where everything starts to tilt. Tyson adjusts his foot angle. Nothing flashy, just enough to align hips, shoulders, intent, ice. Don't blink. The silence in the gym becomes almost artificial. Someone outside the ring holds their breath, because now, even without technical understanding, everyone knows the next seconds are not negotiable. The antagonist tries to reclaim initiative before the ring closes completely around him. He throws a rear hand straight, heavy, predictable, full of confidence. Not a sloppy punch. The kind that has dropped men in smaller gyms. Shoulder turns, hips rotate, back foot drives. Tyson doesn't retreat. He does something that looks insignificant to non-boxers. A short head and torso slip. Inside and outside the punchline, as if the straight passed through a door that closed at the last instant. The punch cuts through where Tyson was and finds nothing. The sound of a miss is different. A dry, frustrated whoosh. In the same fraction of a second, Tyson is already inside. There is no charge, no leap. It's a compact advance, feet glued to the canvas, as if distance itself collapsed. His entire body enters together, head low, chin tucked, shoulders high. He doesn't just invade physical space, he invades time. The 260-pounder feels it too late. He tries to retract the arm, rebuild guard, use size to push and smother the exchange. But by then, the ring has turned into a narrow corridor. Tyson presses his forehead briefly into the opponent's chest, just enough to steal vision. An old, dirty, effective detail. The bigger man loses framing. He doesn't see the punch coming. He only feels Tyson's body where it shouldn't be. And then 6 seconds. Tyson makes the first shot count. A short left hook to the body. Dry, unexaggerated, doesn't look spectacular. It looks inevitable. The fist goes in and out like a tool. The sound is muted, not from weakness, but because it lands where air doesn't make noise. The antagonist's abdomen contracts involuntarily. His breath fails for half a second. That half second is everything. Tyson shifts weight without creating distance. The step is minimal. The hips rotate again. Now the hook whizzes, targeting the side of the jaw. Tyson's arm doesn't arc wide. It doesn't need to. He's too close. The punch comes from a short, treacherous angle, as if it were already on its path and simply completed it. The impact isn't cinematic. It's clinical. The antagonist doesn't fly. He doesn't spin dramatically. He simply loses structure. His legs lag behind his torso. His gaze fails to fix on anything. his mouth opens slightly. More reflex than expression. His body tries to remember how balance works and can't find the command. Tyson doesn't chase with uncontrolled violence. He pauses for what feels too long, but is really discipline. Watches, measures, waits for the other man to recover guard. Not out of mercy, out of precision. Because he knows the hierarchy has already shifted. The entire ring understands. The bigger man tries to show he's fine, raises his gloves, steps sideways, searches for space like someone gasping for air in a sealed room. He throws a rushed jab without conviction just to say, "I'm still here." Tyson tilts his head slightly, almost a reading gesture. He enters again, now at an angle. A short diagonal cut across the opponent's front. The bigger man tries to follow, but his weight betrays him. His base adjusts too slowly. The ring shrinks. Then comes the decisive blow. A single advance. A short, straight punch down the center. Not a long shot, but a compact strike delivered at the exact moment the antagonist opens his guard to shove Tyson away. It's the kind of punch that happens when a big man believes brute force solves space, and the other understands space as a trap. The impact displaces the antagonist's axis. This time, he can't hide it. He stumbles back to uncoordinated steps and hits the ropes. The ropes catch him as if the ring itself has decided. His knees bend slightly. He tries to keep his hands high, but his arms don't respond fast enough. His eyes are no longer provocative. They're busy, trying to understand what happened so fast. 6 seconds. That's all it took for the words. You're just hyped to lose meaning in front of everyone. The trainer raises a hand and steps in. Not because Tyson lost control, the opposite. He steps in because there's nothing left to prove. The ring has spoken. Tyson steps back, lowers his hands, breathes exactly as he did at the start. No pose, no celebration. He doesn't look at the crowd. He doesn't seek approval. He climbs out of the ring like someone finishing a task. The silence that follows is different from any other gym silence. It is an embarrassment. It's reorganization. The antagonist stands still for a moment, near the ropes, trying to reassemble dignity inside his body. He adjusts his mouthpiece with trembling fingers, as if that could reorganize what collapsed internally. He looks around and realizes what hurts most. No one is laughing. No one is celebrating. They're simply watching with the expression reserved for a confirmed truth. One fighter in the corner resumes hitting the bag, but now the sound feels smaller, as if the entire gym lowered its volume out of respect for what just happened. The 260-pound boxer exits the ring without saying anything. He passes Tyson at a careful distance, avoiding unnecessary movement. Arrogance isn't replaced by open humility. It's replaced by caution. A caution that wasn't there before. Tyson grabs a towel, wipes his face. Someone hands him water. He takes a small sip, as if avoiding attention. A trainer says something quietly in his ear. Tyson answers with a minimal nod. A yes that doesn't invite conversation. Then guy speaks not to justify, not to teach, but almost as a cold record of what the gym just witnessed. In here, you don't buy respect with noise. That's all. He doesn't say learn. He doesn't say never again. He doesn't say this is who I am. He simply states the rule like a physical law. And that's why it carries more weight than any speech. The antagonist hears it from a few meters away. He doesn't respond. Because there is no response. That late afternoon, the gym returns to what it was. A place of sweat, repetition, work. But something remains permanently marked. Not a myth, a record. The lesson isn't moral. It's structural. There are places where size impresses, where loud voices create space, where reputation acts as a shield, and then there is the ring which does not negotiate with projection. Inside it, status can exist for years and collapse in seconds when it meets someone who understands timing. Angle and fear. The 260-pound man walked in believing he was measuring a character, testing a narrative. Hype, he said, as if a man could be reduced to a word. What he found was something else. A body trained to decide fast. A silence that wasn't shyness, but control. And a presence that doesn't persuade, it demonstrates. Mike Tyson didn't leave as a hero. He left as he always was. A compact, serious, realistic force, built to invert hierarchies without announcing them. And in that gym, for a long time afterward, whenever someone spoke too loudly, someone inevitably remembered quietly, like a simple warning. 6 seconds.